Hello friends, Mrs. Bannister here. We are in week 3 of our hybrid remote learning model. How are things going? I hope they're going okay. I know this is so different and probably can be challenging at times. Just know that you're not in it alone. Many of us, are having to be very, very flexible with what this looks like. And so we appreciate you showing up, putting in your best effort, and I really do appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully today's lesson can help you feel like you're a little bit more connected to your class or even to your grown-ups at home, your siblings. So I hope you enjoy it. Today's lesson is going to be about respect. Last week we learned about listening, and listening is a way to show respect. When you're in your Zoom meetings and when we get back to class and you're working with partners and your teachers, and even in your house, it's important to show respect. Can you give me a thumbs up if you've heard of the word respect before? I know as an adult, I've heard that word quite a bit. Now, respect for us today is going to be described as showing care for another person, showing that you're interested and willing to listen to another person. So last week you learned about the skills about listening. So today we're going to learn a little bit more about what that actually can look like. What is the behaviors and the interactions that display respect? And then we'll get into a little bit of some scenarios, like some situations where respect can be shown. Okay? So it's kind of a two-part thing. I'm going to show you, we're going to look at a picture and we're going to kind of talk through that as it relates to respect. And then I'm going to give you some problems, and my hope is that you think through them and then possibly give me some responses that have some solutions that are respectful. So today I'd like to show you this class. This is Miss Nelson's second grade class. When you look at this poster, I want to make sure you can see it completely. What do you see happening in Miss Nelson's second grade class? If some of you thought to yourself, I see Miss Nelson doing a read aloud, that's correct. Some of you might have noticed that her students and the classmates are seated on a rug. Do you remember first or second grade? It looked a little bit like this, didn't it? It doesn't look like this right now. Second and third grade don't look like this right now. So I just need you to use your imagination. I know you guys can do that. So thank you for being flexible. So, but getting back to Miss Nelson's class. The behaviors that the students seated are displaying is respectful behavior. And the reason that we would describe this behavior as respectful is because they are paying attention to the teacher. What are some of the behaviors that the students are doing that seem respectful? Can you think of some of those behaviors? I notice, and maybe you do too, that they are sitting still. They have a still body, like we talked about last week with Mona Lisa. I also notice they have their hands and their feet to themselves. That's respectful of each other. Right? We shouldn't be putting our hands and our feet all over our classmates when we're seated on the rug, or even sometimes when we're at home, right? Our body belongs to us. So we keep our hands and our feet to ourselves, just like other people should keep their hands and feet to themselves. I'm also noticing some other Mona Lisa components here. They're looking at the speaker. They're actually looking at the book. They're paying attention to the teacher and the read aloud. It looks like they're listening. And those are respectful behaviors. Does it look like the students are having fun? Give me a thumbs up if you think that it looks like the students are having fun. I would give a thumbs up. I think they're having fun. What leads you to believe they're having fun? If you said that the students have a smile on their face, you're correct. A few of those students have a smile on their face. They're looking at their teacher. They look like they're happy. So it looks like they might be having some fun. Now, when we are in a Zoom meeting, it doesn't necessarily look like this, right? We're not seated on a rug. We're not all grouped together for now. But let's brainstorm. I'm going to put the poster down. Let's brainstorm some behaviors that are respect during a Zoom meeting. So I want you to put your thinking cap on. What's something you can do that's respectful during a Zoom meeting? You could even send me a message with these. I would love, I'm, kind of making this up as I go here because we can't conversate over this, but I certainly want to hear what you have to say. One thing I know I do, even as an adult, is I use the mute button. Because many of you know, sorry, I misspelled button. Don't write that word very much. So I use the mute button. And you should too. There's lots of background noise going on in a house typically, or if you're at the Boys and Girls Club or wherever you're learning right now. And sometimes that can be distracting for other people. So we want to use the mute button. Did you think of something else that might be respectful during a Zoom meeting? I know in the Zoom meetings I've attended, teachers have complimented students on having a calm body. I am sure your teachers have explained why a calm body is a good idea. I will tell you the reason why I think it's a good idea to have a calm body during a Zoom meeting. It's kind of similar to in the classroom, but different in that if I'm moving around and I'm just really energized and wiggly, that can be very distracting to the other people who are watching my little box in the Zoom meeting. So if I can try my very best to have a calm body, we all get the wiggles, I get it. That can be a sign of respect. If we need to get our wiggles out, remember we talked a little bit about this last week, we can use a fidget, like I use my hair tie. We can go for a walk or a run during breaks or go play outside if we can have access to the outside. We can get some energy out during our breaks. Another sign of respect is listening to others. And I have a little story actually that I want to share with you before we go today. This morning, so listening to others. And that doesn't always just mean listening with our ears. It means listening with our heart. And let me tell you why. I'm going to put my whiteboard away. Thank you for adding to those, by the way. That was really great. And I would love to hear your other ideas. So if you can post it to Seesaw or post it on Google Classroom. What are some ways to show respect during a Zoom meeting? I would love to hear those. But I was going to tell you guys, I've been hanging out with Puppy quite a bit lately, especially with my kindergarten and first grade friends. And this morning before our class started, he and I were just kind of chatting, and we have a difference. See, he likes to go to the park, and I like to go up into the forest. And so we had a difference of opinion. And I thought to myself, well, I still need to be respectful of Puppy. He might have a different idea of fun than I do. And that doesn't mean I need to be mean to him. I need to listen to him with my ears and my heart and be flexible. I can disagree. Like I like being in the forest more than the park, and that's okay. So he and I had to talk it through. He listened to me and I listened to him, and I showed him respect. I actually did most of these things, and he did them fairly well. I didn't use the mute button because he's actually with me. He's part of my family, right? But I used this mute button, my mouth, so I could be an appropriate listener, a better listener for him. I didn't get all excited and upset. I had a calm body, and I really, truly listened to him. So I think respect works in the classroom, it works in our homes, it works with our grown-ups, and it works with our friends. So I wanted to share that with you. That was actually like a real life thing that happened this morning, so that was pretty awesome. Okay, Puppy, you're back in your spot, friend. Okay, so one thing though that I would like just to kind of put you guys, like put your thinking caps on. So I'm going to give you a couple of problems, and I want you to think about what would be a respectful way to respond to these problems. Okay, here we go. The problem is you need to borrow a pencil. So if you were in this class, okay, and you were working with my friend here, let's say her name's Joanna, and Joanna has a bunch of pencils. What would you do to borrow a pencil from Joanna? Yes, if you said you could ask her politely for a pencil, you're correct. That could sound like, Joanna, can I please use one of your pencils? And I'm sure Joanna looks lovely. I'm sure she would say, absolutely, friend. Or, Joanna, can I borrow your pencil until I get another one? And again, Joanna, she seems like a very nice friend. I'm certain she would say, absolutely, friend. How about this question? Let's pretend you have a question during a Zoom meeting. Okay, so we're not doing the regular old school thing here, right? We're here in Corvallis School District doing our Zoom lessons. If you had a question during your morning meeting and it was just, you so wanted to get it answered, it's like bubbling up inside, what would you do? Could you raise your hand? Yes, that's so respectful. Could you, sometimes in the Zoom meetings, you guys honestly know more than I do. I'm not kidding. I've seen people like actually raise a hand, like have a little emoji hand pop up, which is awesome. That's respectful too. Because interrupting people in the middle of a Zoom meeting for a question isn't always the most respectful thing to do. But indicating that you have some interest in asking a question is not interrupting. Then your teacher is like, oh, I see Mrs. Bannister or Joanna has a question. I will get to you in a moment. And then that's not interrupting the lesson. So this week our focus is respect. We can respect our classmates and our teacher. We can respect our grown-ups and our siblings and our families at home also. If you'd like to share a comment or an idea in your Google Classroom or your Seesaw with me, please do. I would love, love, love to hear your ideas. And on that note, I invite you all to visit my website. I'm posting my website in your Google Classrooms and Seesaw Classrooms now, which is great. And I invite you to come and join me for Good Morning Friends every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 to 8:15. Okay, I will see you all soon. Have a wonderful week.